Good morning to you. It's good to see you right here on the show. It's Wednesday, and you know, every single Wednesday we talk about anything and everything, wellness and health. And today on the show, we'll be focusing on a conversation that, if I'm being honest, we talk about every single day. But still, you know what? I thought about it when I was coming back to work. It's like every time we talk about it, the situation becomes worse. So now I'm thinking, Sasa, what do we do? Do we change the way we talk about it? Do we change our attitudes toward the conversation, or what exactly needs to happen? Okay. And I'm talking about alcohol and wellness, and we'll be looking at the impact that it has on not just the individual, but also the family as well. So we're talking about alcohol and wellness, like I said, and we'll be focusing on asking a very critical question. Is it just a problem or a habit? Is it a problem or is it just a habit? Because for a very long time, alcohol has been socially acceptable. So many people, okay? And some people will tell you, yeah, even my great-great-grandparents used to take alcohol, okay? Even my grandparents used to take alcohol and they were okay. So what exactly is the issue, okay? But like I said, today we want to approach it in a totally different angle and just look at the impact that it has really on families and what we can do collectively, you know, to curb the menace. So we have a question for you this morning before I introduce my guest, because we have a very fully fledged panel. The question there, you have it on your screens, is, do you think the society has normalized alcohol too much? Why or why not? Do you think society normalizes alcohol too much? And why or why not? You know how to reach to us, and that is through our WhatsApp number, 0112-500-400, or you can give us a call. We're live, so that means you can call in anytime. Even if you want to call now, you can do so. Our lines are officially open. Any question that you have, you direct them to our panel, or if you want to contribute to the discussion, feel free to do so, or use our social media handles, and that is at NTV Kenya across all board, but also tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie. Let's have a wholesome conversation today on alcohol and its impact on families as well, okay? So on my immediate left, as per tradition, I'm alone. We can't do this with Wikali. From my immediate left, okay, we have Reverend Frederick Ngugi, who is not just a parent who has lost his child to alcohol, but also the board director, NACADA, National Chairman, Association of Pentecostal and Evangelical Clergy of Kenya. Where? That's a mouthful. Good to see you, Reverend. Thank you so much for really making the time for us. And like I said, this is a conversation that, yes, you're not just coming in the capacity of NACADA, but also as a parent. It's very personal to you as well. Yes. So thank you for making the time. We also have Nkatha Mwenda, who is a recovery coach. She's also chairperson, Graceful Youth Recovery Center, and also an executive committee member, International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals, ISAP Kenya. Good to have you. I might my tongue kidogo with the title.
Thank you
Good
so
to see you, Nkatha, as well. Thank you for making the time. And we also have Andrew Opio. Mimi ni Baba Judy. Good to see you. It's so weird now calling you Andrew, because the last time you were here, you know, on Friday, Friday.
That time was DJ Drew. Now
DJ Drew. Leonie
Baba
Judy. Yes. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by today. And yes, he is a DJ tutor and a DJ, okay, as well. Thank you so much for making the time, Drew. And you're here to share your story because it's also personal to you. Yes. And, you know, we were talking about this like a few weeks ago, and as we were like, and then, hiya, that is what happened, because it's a long story, but we really get to understand how that impacted your family in a way. But Reverend, can we just start with you, looking at the numbers? How are we doing as a country? I know there was a recent proposal that has sparked conversations online, offline, and everywhere about the new proposals. Has not been approved yet, right?
Yes.
Okay, but before that, the numbers, how are we doing as a country in terms of just alcohol, drugs, and, you know, substance use and abuse? What are the numbers saying?
When I can say the numbers, according to the NACADA survey, Kenyan people at 4.7 million are abusing drugs, either one or two. Right. And also amongst youth, 3.7 million are already addicted with alcohol and substance abuse. And again, also coming to further details, 1 out of 45 youths are addicted to alcohol as we are speaking today. And also other drugs and substance abuse, if you can say, like, for example, 1 out of 167 youth aged between 14 and 24 years are also addicted to tobacco. And 1 out of 125 youth still in this, that age scope, 14 to 24 years, are addicted to cannabis sativa and other associated drugs. And coming down, 1 out of 77 youths still in the same age bracket are addicted to miraa. And surprisingly enough, in our society, the introduction age is getting a little bit lower because you find at the age of 6, our children are being introduced into alcohol. That is 6 years old.
6 years.
Yes. Then at only 7 years, others are being introduced into tobacco, and at the age of 8 years, others are being introduced into cannabis sativa, other drug-related cases, and coming up to the age of 18 to 20, then they are introduced into hard drugs, and the situation is not very good. But as a country, we have now raised the matter much more, because we are incorporating all stakeholders in the country. We recently launched a community-based program where we are involving parents, teachers, GAU, police, everyone in the society. And I can tell you, when the fight is beginning to take shape, and it is bearing fruits.
Yeah, that's a good thing to hear, because again, most of the time we used to leave it to NACADA to, you guys deal with it, and then us will be here waiting to see if it's working or not, and then we point fingers and say NACADA is not doing it, whatnot. But that's good to hear that it's now shifting towards a collective effort to fight this menace. And Kathy, just listening to this, how much of a concern then is it? What is it that concerns you the most when we're talking about alcohol, drugs and substance use and abuse, and also the new trends that we are seeing? Because age of initiation at 6 years old?
Yeah. As a parent and as a person in recovery, and a citizen of this nation, I'm concerned because of the public health, the health of an individual. Because if you are unhealthy, then you're not able to be productive in all spheres. And so when we look at the status and the statistics he's shared, many people, because of normalization and because of an industry that has really pushed this alcohol in our faces, because it's a legalized product, we are not looking at it from what it is doing to families, what it's doing to the community. So I would want to just highlight that it is about science, and especially when you hear 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, scientists are telling us that the frontal cortex is responsible for decision making, is responsible for impulse, and it's not developed until the age of 25. And so when you hear there's someone who's already initiated at the age of 6, 7, it interferes with brain function. And science is saying if you are exposed then at that age, then chances of having a substance use disorder or an addiction is on the rise. And so it can be an emotional topic. Many people are talking about livelihoods that will stop because if you start regulating or controlling, but we're not looking at the health of an individual who's the unit of the family, community, county, nation. So even as the many jobs may be lost, because I'm talking about the recently proposed policy, we also need to understand that alcohol and these substances are neurotoxic in nature. And because of their nature, then they are a risk to health.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think I like what you're saying is that then shift from just looking at alcohol in itself, but also look at what it's doing to people's health, to the kids as well. Because if we expose them at that early age, what is it doing to their brains, say by the time they're like 20, 25, 40, you know, and 50? So shift in terms of how we're looking at it and approaching this.
Yes. And I'll give you something that's common. Many people are saying about the 18 years, someone can vote. Yeah. Someone is an adult.
Yes.
And yes, you can make a decision and decide, I will vote for so-and-so, I can do this and this. But then when you look at the brain, when you look at the body, the way it is made up, exposure of substances at a tender age, then increase your risk to a substance use disorder and a mental health condition. So we are so happy with the conversations ongoing now. I'll tell you for a fact, 90% of people are happy. The church is happy. You know, households are happy. Many people have come out in support in relation to, can we have this conversation? Can then we have awareness and education? The pushback is coming from the industry.
From the industry itself. And we look at that in terms of then how then do we bring in the industry to understand that, hey, we're not closing down your businesses, we're just trying to sort out a problem that is affecting as many communities and so many people out there, which again, we'll look at it in a second. But Drew, like I said, your story is, it's like, it's a lot. It's a long story, but because then looking at the industry that you are in and what we're focusing on today in terms of the normalization of it, and if you're not using it, everybody's looking at you like, is anything, you know, is something wrong with you? And then you lived it. You lived through, yes, the industry and also alcohol and the impact that it had on your family. At what point would you say you notice that, listen, this is a problem, and not just a problem to me, but also a problem to the people around you, the people that you care about?
For me, listening to the stats from the Reverend,
I
was like shocked, like starting that young. But I also started experimenting with cigarettes at 12 years.
12.
By the time I was 16, I was hooked on cigarettes.
Okay.
By the time I was 18, I was a casual drinker, and nobody batted an eye about it. And getting into the industry that I was in, drinking is also just a normal thing. But looking back at it now, the thing that impacted me the most is having a child. Like my daughter at 7 was scared enough by a friend to tell me, Daddy, you're going to die. So and I had to ask why. Well, what makes you think I'm going to die?
I'm going to die?
And she told me, my friend told me that her dad told her that smoking is bad for you, it'll kill you. And at that point, it kind of clicked in my head. I was like, oh, okay. She can see this, she's picking it up, and I need to do something to change it.
Okay. You can imagine even the scare, like by the time she's coming to tell you, Daddy, you're going to die. I can only imagine the scare that she had to just think, oh, my dad is not going to be here in the next, say, like few years because of, you know, the habit that, like you said, was normalized, was okay. Like you're a casual drinker, you're a casual smoker. I mean, it's okay, what's the big deal? But really, the people around us, you know, are impacted the most, that sometimes we don't get to see. And Reverend, even for you as well, and I'm just trying to imagine, because there's the religious aspect of it, and then there's the expectation from the society, and then there is the children. And sometimes children go in a way that, as parents, then what do you do? There's nothing much that you can do but just try to point them in the right direction. Can we talk a little bit about your son?
And how this... Because we have touched on parenting. Let me start a little bit by an experience I got myself when I was a child.
Okay.
So that at least we can also speak to the parent out there who are listening to us. I would say that it is also very important for parents to begin speaking to their children against drug abuse. Why? Because Nkada here has never known that I'm also a recovered addict of smoke.
Oh, okay. We're finding out together.
I think this is the first time I'm speaking about it.
Okay.
Why did it happen? Because back there when we were growing up as children, we were 9 of us. Okay. That was 3 boys and 6 girls. And my father and my mother used to caution us very much against alcohol and other related drugs, including cannabis sativa.
Okay.
But my father was a smoker, and therefore he did not at any time condemn smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
Therefore, when he was speaking about all other drugs, we believed that other drugs are so bad. I can tell you, none of us tried, but all of us, 9 of us, smoked cigarettes because he was smoking himself.
Okay.
And at some point when I was getting to the age of up to the age of 24 years, I was completely addicted, and I had become a chain smoker. I was trying to live fit. I would even tell my wife, I have left this thing. I would even throw the cigarette to the fire.
Yeah.
But the following day, I'm looking for the cigarette. I'm even looking for pieces where I hid or I threw them.
Yeah,
broken
maybe
pieces.
there's one that did not burn completely.
What am I saying? I'm saying that parents also play a very important part in terms when it comes to parenting and also cautioning their children. Yes, there are a few others who act out, but voices of a parent are normally very, very powerful upon the brain of the children. Because if he was also condemning cigarette, I wouldn't have become an addict of cigarettes. Coming back to the question you have just asked me about my children. I have 3 children, 2 twin boys and a daughter called Faith Washuka, a beautiful girl. And my boys began abusing alcohol at the age of 17 years. And when it was a shock to us, because they found me already born again, a church person who is very devoted together with the mother. And I was cautioning them against, that's why I've said children sometimes act out. Whenever you see a child misbehaving with alcoholism or any drug abuse, don't blame the parent, because there are some who act out even when you have tried as much to caution them out of it, because we were doing it almost every day. But at some point now, they began drinking when they were in college at the age of 17 years. And it continued like that even when they were out of college. They continued, even if we would try to stop them. At some point, I was even slapping them because, they are, like a parent, you find it is too much. Sometimes they are picking things from the house, and it was really bad. And they continued like that for 17 years. And it became a little bit too much because it began affecting their health. When I had asked the mother to ensure that every meal that they take, no matter how little they take, because addicts do not, especially alcoholic addicts, don't eat much. I had instructed my wife to ensure that every meal they take has some meat. It's a well-balanced meat, so that diet, so that it can at least keep them alive until the day they will maybe come out of addiction. I knew at some point, because I'm praying, they will come out of addiction. Why were we doing this? Because we love the children. We knew at some point it is not their will. We discovered that these boys, they would want to obey us, but there is something. We did not understand as much as we do today that it was sickness, but we knew it was not their will. They would want to come out of it, but it was difficult. We knew that at some point they would get out of it. And that's why I was trying to talk to them, asking the mother to feed them well. But unfortunately, both of them went one day to a drinking spree at a certain bar near our home area. And as you know, there are some low bar people who also sells counterfeit and also poisonous drinks in their bars. And unfortunately, my boys that day took a very poisonous alcohol to the extent that they were not even able to reach home. They fell along the trenches, and because they were doing it every day, and the mother, whenever she would find them late, she would look for Boda guys to look for them, and they would be found somewhere, and as usual they knew they would be paid to pick my boys back home and get them on bed, and they sleep. So it was, you know, even if, I mean, it was very usual. They used to do it almost every day. And sometimes I would even pick them and take them to hospital when I find it is too much, and they would be treated and get out of hospital. Unfortunately, that day, they fell in a trench, and nobody knew they were there. Even the Boda boys who used to be given some money by the mother to look for them, they did not find them where they were. But until when it was actually very late, that's why they were found where they were, and it was reported to the mother, and she looked for some people to pick them back home, and they were taken to where they used to sleep. And unfortunately, in the morning, one of them, called Paul Joroge, had died in the sleep. But the other one woke up. They are twins. And the other one woke up, and he cried a lot. We also, it was bad. People cried, the mother cried, and there was a story behind it. This one that survived, called John Mwangi. I know he's watching. By the way, now he's very good, and he's even being size. He's the
same as Drew.
And he's doing very well, by the way, and he has even married.
Oh, great.
But he told us, you know, I would also be dead. Where we took this alcohol, later we felt that smell that was very bad, and we suspected something has been mixed. Then along the way, my brother, myself vomited a lot, but my brother, for a reason, he did not vomit. So I think that what saved me. Perhaps is the way I vomited. And true, I think it is the reason why he was not as much affected. As the brother. So when they slept, the one who did not vomit, I think the poison penetrated much into his system to the level where he would not wake up in the morning. But good Lord, the other one is doing very well. We are happy that we are having him, but also sad because we lost the other one. They were twins, and they looked alike.
Drew has a twin brother too, you said, like, and they're identical. And I'm so sorry, Reverend, really, you know, for that and just losing your son, because like they always say, no parent has to bury their child. Really sorry for that. But also thank you for sharing, you know, that so that we really understand the impact that it has on families. Can we just take a moment to breathe? Then when we come back from the break, then we'll look at what then do we need to do, because clearly people are affected by this. Children are losing their lives. Parents are also losing their children. Also some parents losing their lives. So what is it that we need to do? How do we change? part and the addiction part, and it's just like a whole lot of conversation that really needs a complete, if you ask me, a complete overhaul in terms of how we talk about it and also how we approach it, okay? But, you know, the question that we're asking you this morning is, do you think the society normalizes alcohol too much? Why or why not? So I have a few comments here from Facebook. So this one says, this is Daniel Atuti, who says, we've woven alcohol into almost every social event, which makes it hard to separate genuine celebration from unhealthy habits. And then another one says, this is just Fatmwangi, who says, yes, it's one of the cheapest and most available drug, puts drug in quotes, available, and especially for leisure and social functions. And then Clement Celestia says, if cheaper alcohol was banned, many people in the society would be very different positively. So it's was being banned cheaper or not cheap, but is it one and the same? And, you know, what do we do? And that is what we're going to approach, you know, on this part of the conversation. But during the break, you said, you know how Reverend was saying, you don't look for that kasinga until you call me tupa mahali labda kunelewe back. You did all that.
I did all that.
And
I didn't even do it alone.
You did? You didn't do it alone?
I know. When I started smoking, I started smoking. I also have a twin brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I started smoking, he wasn't smoking. But
he wasn't?
Since we were sharing a room, eventually, he also started.
Found himself smoking.
So sometimes we used to say, we have stopped, we have quit.
Yeah.
We throw, you know, the bags where you put it and you've thrown them away, we have stopped. That night, we are both looking. And that was part of it was a real struggle for us. And the normalization of, let me go back now to the alcohol.
Okay.
Like the way we really normalize alcohol in everything. In a social gathering, if there's no alcohol, it's like, it's not as fun.
You're actually judged for not having alcohol at the functions.
And I grew up in a household where my father drank every day, but he wasn't a drunk. He drank 2 beers, some whiskey, and he went to bed.
And that's it.
But see me as a child seeing that, and I was also never denied that same privilege. At that time, I thought it was a privilege, but it was a bad thing. And I didn't know how to regulate it. So we were drinking to get drunk and black out and sleep. We were not doing it the same way our father was doing it.
Yes.
And for him, even with the smoking part, he eventually obviously found out we were still living at home and smoking. But now he didn't stop us exactly. He just said, don't smoke near me or in front of me.
Okay.
So we were still allowed to do that.
But
and to just keep it down, keep it on the low, and it'll be okay. And for us, being that young, our minds, like we were in Katha, you were saying before, our minds weren't fully developed at that point. So we were just getting deeper and deeper into it. Right now, I am 4 years, 8 months sober.
Yay! That's really good.
And my twin brother is 6 months sober.
Oh!
So he's also in recovery.
Yay! Yes. That's really good. And can we just talk about a little bit on how you went to rehab? Because it's an interesting story. Is it your friend or your sister?
My sister.
Yeah.
My wife.
Yeah.
And a friend was also involved. It was during the COVID period, 2020. And I'd really lost myself in alcohol. That time, now the regulation that I could do, before I could binge for 4 days, stop for 2, be able to work a little bit, then go back to my binging. But at that point, there was really no work. So everybody was really in alcohol and all of that. And I also got caught up in that, and I got really lost in it. And that's when I finally started to see, wait, this is not just binging. I'm actually addicted. I can't operate without it at all. I was lying to myself before. And also, that's the same time that my daughter had just talked to me about, her friend had seen me smoking and talked to me about it. I talked to her about it, and she talked to me about it. And I was like, if this child can see that, I could die. And she's actually starting to process those kind of thoughts. I was like, no, she's too young to be thinking about anything like that. I need to do something about it. So in my mind, in my heart, I wanted to do something about it, but I wasn't able to. And I was eventually, I binged for quite a bit. So one time my sister comes to the bar where I was at and asked me, hey, Drew, would you go to rehab?
Yeah.
And I'm with my friends, we are drinking, and I told her, yes,
rehab too, we'll go.
Tunaenda siku gani? Just tell me, I'll come.
Yeah.
I'll come.
Yeah.
And I think they also didn't take it seriously that I would actually do it.
Yeah.
So I told them, I'll come back home tomorrow. And then, see, we're going the day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll come tomorrow. And I stayed there in the bar, I drank, and I went home the next day. And I was very drunk, of course, hungover. And one of the rules we had in my house, because I used to drink a lot, is that alcohol wasn't allowed in the house.
Okay.
So I had to leave to drink.
Yeah.
So then I'm in the house, I'm thinking to myself, okay, nikesho naenda. I packed my things. I'm looking like, everybody's like wondering, wait, this guy is
really serious. He wants to really
he's
go.
About to go.
Yeah.
He's taking it seriously. He's packed his things, he wants to go to rehab.
Yeah.
But that afternoon hit. Yeah. And now I'm shaking my hands. I'm thinking, hey, maybe this is not such a good idea.
Yeah.
The withdrawal is kicking in.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, I need to do something. So I tell my wife and my sister, wacheni nitoke hivi kidogo. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I'm still going.
Yeah.
I'm still going.
Yeah.
That is the one time I was allowed to have alcohol in the house.
Okay, because they knew
They're like, whatever it takes to get me to rehab,
yes,
they would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they did bring me alcohol, and I drank in the house. I chilled out. The symptoms subsided kidogo. I slept, and I woke up the next day.
Yeah.
And I was taken to rehab.
Okay.
That was December 23rd of 2020. Before Christmas.
Yes. Okay.
The people in rehab really laughed.
Yeah.
Like how you should have waited.
You should have waited till
Christmas.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And here you are today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for really sharing that part. And Katha, there's the part about addiction that there's a bit of a struggle. People don't understand. Still watch it too. What is you? Still watch it too. Can you really just understand that part? And then how are we able to support our loved ones in that space?
First, I want to acknowledge, here in this panel is lived experience.
Lived experiences, yes.
And the power of lived experience is that someone is talking from knowledge, they've walked in that path. So even as we are speaking to those who are tuned in today, someone is relating to DJ Drew's story, or someone who is a pastor or a father is relating to Reverend Frederick's story. And it's then important that we have people who have lived experience be part of these conversations. Addiction is a brain disease. It is recurring, relapsing in nature. And it is an addiction when you have no control. You see, he was so set. He accepted to go to rehab. He accepted he had a problem. Number one is to accept that there is lack of control. He talked of lack of control. He's talked about lack of control. I have a lived experience. I had no control. And it's on 24th of December 2016 when my life, turned around as well. So 8 years, 8 months, and walking a day at a time, by the grace of God, sober, unashamed, because it has helped many reach out. It has helped many seek treatment. So it is a disease. You don't hear people who have diabetes being harassed. Utaacha kufanya hivi lini? Why are you doing this and this? The same thing with addiction. It is, or an alcohol use disorder or substance use disorder. They are diseases. So then it is important to seek treatment. There's inpatient and outpatient. The experts are able to take you through. So you need to go to a treatment facility. You need to engage with professionals, addiction counselors, the psychologists, because when we talk about substance use disorders, we cannot disengage mental health as well, because the brain is what is compromised. The brain is what is not healthy, and that's why you see the change in behavior. We talked about exposure at a young age and how your thoughts are impaired, your decision making is impaired. So addiction is a disease. Someone is not pretending. It's not a moral failing. So we need to address that. And just as Drew has talked about it, and even Reverend has mentioned, there was treatment. He went to rehab. His son went to rehab. People recover in different ways, yes? But there has to be an acceptance that it is a disease. Until we can have that notion, the statistics are saying 1 in 20, or is it 1 in 47 of those who use alcohol have an alcohol use disorder. To me, not everyone ends up having an alcohol use disorder. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. But we've noticed this, some genetic predisposition as well. He's talked about himself. He's talked about his sons. You know, others. And if you he's talked about himself as well. So if you realize in your family that there is a genetic predisposition that alcohol or a substance has not been has led to a disorder, then you already will make an informed decision and say, alcohol is not for me, you know, or whichever substance is not for me. But we emphasize treatment. We emphasize after recovery, get into a support group. Because it is a brain disease. It is all about how you feel, you know, your emotions, your moods. So get into a company that is accepting, that will hold your hand. And we may be here at Nation and with all this English and all this sophistication looking, but addiction does not discriminate. It's in the community. I had Reverend talk about a community-based framework that was launched by NACADA some months back, and something that we also are using in our community, so that if you're not able to afford rehab, because those costs are pretty high, you know, what then can I do? We have approached faith-based organizations. We've approached different people in the community, even the Ngao. Where can we be able to let people know in the community, if you have these symptoms, lazima utoe lock to function. You know, like him, it's the withdrawals that checks in the afternoon, and all of a sudden he's thinking, man, this shakes no. And the body is just telling him you need to have. And I'm telling you the truth, if he left that day, you know, God forbid, it would be a different story. But so, for me, it's more of, if we as individuals in the communities can stop the stigma and the shaming, and these conversations can be normalized. I'm telling you, there can be a lot of healing. Obviously, also, addictions stem from underlying issues. We've heard of trauma. We've heard of abuse. Children will do what they see, not what you say. So there's also focus on positive parenting. You know, most parents are parenting the way they know, but then having them come together and be equipped, you know, with the knowledge on how to address their growing children, then you find you can be able to reduce the use of substance and initiation. So it also needs us to be responsible. It needs us to be responsible. Professional services, I always insist on that. My healing came supernaturally. I slept one night on that 24th of December of 2016 from a night out. I had a vision in my dream. My dreams come true, and I saw an accident outside my local pub. And on looking at the accident was my vehicle. On looking closer, it was me. And in the dream, I'm being told, if you go out to drink again, this will be your fate.
What will happen?
And when I woke up and I remembered the dream, those calls that came in from the people I was drinking with the night before, you always have someone calling you in the morning because you have these drinking buddies. I never answered. I don't know how I didn't answer until today. They still call 8 years later. They called 1 year continuously. And someone may think I was selfish, but now I understand God gave me the grace to cut off from that which had cost me so much, cost me my family. You know, I have a son, he's a teen, but he grew up with a mother who was dependent. And then I was not seeing it. I'm a daughter, I have parents who are alive, who are concerned. And it is until 2022 when now God reminded me, you know, you need to venture and do 1, 2, 3, that I was able to reflect back on your life and understand the reason I saw a vehicle is because my car knew its way home and I had near-death accidents. So what risk do you put yourself when you're under the influence and others around you? When you look at the NTCA reports, when you look at the accidents, just yesterday or just last week, we saw a matatu in a petrol station, and the people in the matatu had to remove the driver from driving. These are day-to-day occurrences that we have become dependent, and we want to do things normally, and yet we are sick. Then we need to create, even government, civil society, you know, all hands on deck to be able to address the public health crisis that is happening because of normalizing of the substances. Have we criticized or demonized the drink and the manufacturers? No, we're just saying you are misleading us. Your advertisements are misleading. And these sin taxes, that's why they're called sin taxes, there needs then to be some money that is set aside to take care of the diseases and rehabilitation, education and awareness that is much needed in society so that we can make an informed decision. We can make an informed decision.
I really like that, the whole comprehensive approach. And Reverend was talking about the community-based approach that is helping with the same. But again, this is not the first time that Kenya is trying to, you know, fight, combat, just come up with policies that you know, will help in terms of alcohol abuse here in the country. And now we have the new policies. And I'm really curious about it because, like you said, there was someone who was asking, so 21, so that means someone will only get an ID when they get to 21. Does it mean that now you're considered an adult only when you get to 21? What happens to the 18? Like, it's a whole conversation. But really, can we talk about what informed this different approach, you know, with the proposed policies, and how much of an impact do you think it will have, say, in the next few years, if you know, they are approved?
That's a very good question, Win, and I know many Kenyans are asking the same question. First of all, we Kenyans need to know that for sure, even if one is 18 years and they have got an ID and they are considered to be adult, but they are not adult enough to some in some aspects, because you find most of the 18 years old are still in school, either in the university or colleges, and therefore anyone who is in the university or in a college are 100% depending on their parent. Therefore, how would one say that they are adult and then they are allowed to go drink beer, to pub and do whatever they want, yet whatever they are having belongs to their parent? Even girls out there, they are hairs. No matter how good it can be, it belongs to their parent because they get the money to make that hair from their parent. So therefore, they are not mature enough. They are not adult. One is an adult when they are already independent upon themselves and they are using their own money. Again, also, at the age of 18, the mental development is still going on, and therefore they are not mature enough to handle alcohol. And that's why sometimes I go in Africa, only old warriors were allowed to engage in alcohol at a certain age. Why? Because they were already, their mental development was completely mature, and therefore they would not get into addiction as much as it would be when an 18-year person begins to consume alcohol, because as she has explained, it interferes with their mental development. So we are saying, at least at the age of 21, one has gone out of college or university, and they are perhaps employed, and therefore they are depending on their own salaries, and therefore one would begin to look at how much they need to use for pressure, and how much they need to save, how much they need to do to keep for their own development. Again, also, their mental development is already at a certain level where they are able to have some limits. Okay. So that's why that is being changed from 18 years to 21. And it's so not only in our country, even developed countries like America, they are doing the same thing. Yeah. So not that NACADA or government is trying to punish or interfere with anybody's business. By the way, we are so much for those people who are doing business, even in alcohol business, and they are doing it the right way, because there are limits and procedures. And those that are following procedures and they are compliant to the rules, normally you don't find them having problems with even having our youth go to their bars and get out there already drunk and even unable to go home. Allow me to speak to 3 people here. Okay. One, I want to speak to the parent who are perhaps having growing up children. It is important that you look at your children even as early as 6 years. You see how they are behaving, because there are people out there who are even giving them drugs to take to customers out there, either inside schools or in the neighborhood. They put in their bags. And therefore, it is important to parents to begin being very, very careful in looking at what is being carried, or what is happening with their children, even at the primary schools. Right. Again, also, I would advise the parent to really know if your child has been addicted, don't hit them. Know that they are sick. Not that they are behaving the same they do, because they would want to anger you or ignore you or see you as though you are not a person who can be obeyed. They are normally very sick. And addiction is a disease just like any other disease. And if, for example, you find somebody who is sick and you go to hospital and you are very careful, you love them, you take them good fruits and good foods, do the same thing to one who is addicted. If you show them love, if you give them good food, if you tell them, okay, I know you are having a problem, it is difficult for you, let us work together, you will at some point you will come out. They begin seeing somebody who can really handle them well with love, and they begin to think of how they can also get out of that. Okay. Even the neighborhood and the parent. Allow me also to speak to the clergy, because I'm also a clergy. Out there, so many clergy are doing very good work. I can tell you, even those that have gone to rehab, without the help of religious leaders or their pastors, they cannot make it. Because out there, even if you recover after 3 months or so, you need to get back to the community, and one of those people who helps a lot are a clergy. And I can tell you, because I'm a leader of a very large clergy organization in this country, out there, APEC clergy are doing a very, very good work out there in every county, in every sub-county. They are doing community-based rehabilitation. How does it work? They bring these boys together, they speak to them, they love them, they feed them, then they talk to them, and you find them after perhaps 3 to 6 years, they have already come out of addiction. Okay.
Yes. Reverend, just hold on to it, because we need to go on a break, but I just also want to go through some feedback, and then when we come back, we'd want to understand more on the community-based rehabilitation and how that works and how that is useful. But on the question that we're asking you this morning, and that is, do you think society normalizes alcohol too much? Why or why not? Let's hear what some of you have to say. And this is on our WhatsApp number 0112 500 400. So this one says, yes, in many parts of the world, society does tend to normalize alcohol consumption. 1, social acceptance. Alcohol is widely used in celebrations, social events and gatherings, birthdays, weddings, holidays, and even casual meetups, making it appear like a normal part of daily life. 2, Media influence, movies, music, and advertisements often portray drinking as fun, sophisticated, or stress reliever, rarely showing its negative effects. 3, cultural traditions. In some cultures, alcohol is deeply embedded in rituals or customs, further reinforcing its acceptance. And then number 4, this person says economic impact. The alcohol industry is a significant source of revenue and employment. So governments and businesses often avoid limiting its visibility. However, it is important to note that normalizing alcohol can downplay the risks of addiction, health issues, and social problems. And also, not all societies or individuals accept it. Many communities and religions strongly discourage or ban use. Wow, thank you so much for that. And then this one says, so this one says, personally, I have mixed views on the question. On one hand, there is a drinking culture, mainly due to influence from mainstream media, that is consumption of alcohol being depicted as somewhat leisurely and fun, despite the negative effects of alcohol in the body. Also, on the other hand, in traditional sense, drinking traditional brews such as busa and muratina is considered as part of a culture in most tribes. Basically, it goes both ways, as in both circumstances, individuals are influenced to consume alcohol. Okay. And then someone here says, most of the people become addicts in university because of peer pressure. This is Orina Samuel from Kisii. Thank you so much. And then someone here just says, hi, hello. Oh, continues to say, I am Becca. I wish my dad could join your conversation. Alcohol has taken his life away. I am so sorry for that, Becca. And then someone here says, hello, I'm watching the conversation. I'm a mother of an alcoholic daughter. I really need to take her to rehab, but funds is a great challenge. Kindly help how I can get her out of the addiction. Thank you. This is Sarah. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for that. I think, Reverend, maybe you will address that when we come back from the break, because again, like we all said, sometimes getting access to funds and also affording to take someone to rehab facilities is not cheap. So how then do we make it easier for parents who want to help their kids? All right, so let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll still focus more on the conversation in terms of how do we move from there, but also keep in mind that the Devolution Conference is happening in Homa Bay, and we'll be crossing over there at some point in the conversation. But for now, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more right here on Your World. All right, welcome back. Glad you're still with us officially in the second hour. And like we said, there is Devolution Conference happening in Homa Bay, and we are informed that the president is already has already arrived. So in any minute from now, we'll be crossing over. But before that, we're having a conversation this morning on alcohol and wellness and its impact on families, and really how then do we shift the narrative in terms of approach and based on how we talk about it, how we approach it, and also, changes that are, happening here in the country and how we can support it. So Drew, I want to hear from you. So having gone through it, the addiction part, and now you are in recovery, which is really, really fantastic to hear, to see. What is it that, from your perspective and your experience, you would say either needs to change, maybe change the approach, and who else should we bring on board, in this conversation on alcohol and its impact on families?
For me, I think that, of course, we need to not normalize things so much.
Okay.
Because even like somebody in the comments here and the messages were saying that even what you see on media, you'll watch a movie, they really normalize all of that.
Yeah.
In our society right now, you go for a wedding, you go for any kind of function, it's just a normal thing. You're drinking, your children are seated next to you. That's normal. Yeah. We just need to be able to educate our children and the people out there, like, it's not always the way to go. And also in the community, right now we have, most places we've left it to religious organizations to take care of that. We are like, Yes.
Yeah.
We are not doing community-based things. And I'm really happy to hear that NACADA is working on such things, because you'll also have to know that the community of the addict is very strong, and they're very active. And they're there to call you back. Nkatha, you were mentioning 8 years later, there are some people who will still call you.
Yeah.
So the community surrounding recovering addicts and people who are in addiction needs to be just as strong, even stronger. Yeah, make people feel like we are still with you. We will take care of you. Yeah, and work on finding out also what are the underlying issues causing this. Yes, because people just don't fall into it just like that. Something triggers you to start. Yeah.
And what kind of support would you say? Because I'm imagining after rehab, you went back home, same neighborhood, same friends, same people. So I'm just wondering, like, how were you able to, you know, support yourself, but also receive support from others to, you know, remain sober and still keep working towards it?
For me, it was a decision I made. It was just pure willpower sometimes. Yeah, it's for you. To decide that I'm not going to be like this anymore. I'm going to do my best to be better. So I went back, yes, to the same community. Moving, I step out of the gate, it's the same people I'm seeing. And I had to live with them. I tried to tell them, hey, I've changed. And I had a very small support system. But you don't need 10 people. You need 1 or 2 good people.
Who believe in you and want to support you.
That's it. That's all it usually takes. You don't need everybody to believe in you. Just 1 or 2 people. And I had that. I had my sisters, I had my wife. And they supported me in everything. And eventually, even the people who thought that, hey, he's taken a detox for 6 I've been tempted by the same things and I've overcome. So there's no need to stay here. I can move on to the next thing.
Okay, I see. Sometimes also taking action personally to help yourself in as much as you're receiving support from other people. All right, thanks, Drew. There was a conversation about the ban on the proposed policies on selling in supermarkets and whatnot. And there's a whole lot of conversations, but there's also how then do we bring in manufacturers and distributors into this conversation so that they don't feel mnatunyanganya biashara, you know? How do we do that? How do we change you know, the approach in Kata?
I'll go back to where we started. This proposed policy is all about the future. You know, you want to make changes now so that, number one, you can protect the children, you can protect the youth, and focus on public health. So even those people, the manufacturers and all those people, they will feel the crunch now. And that's why we are insisting that they look for other sources of income. But then going back to the Constitution, I believe it's Article 53 that talks about child protection. Children suffer because of the alcohol. And even just hearing the conversations here today, these children are suffering. Either they're no longer a priority in the home where there's alcohol used, they're exposed to violence, they themselves go through trauma and they're not able to function normally, you know, that leads to also mental health conditions and all. So that's why we are focusing on this, the benefits of this policy. Then there's also youth empowerment, which is Article 55, if I'm not wrong. And I'm saying all this based off the civil societies who have come together supporting NACADA. I'll never forget 24th of June when Cabinet passed this proposed policy. And I want to commend the President because he has been speaking about this even as the Deputy President, acknowledging, number one, that the rehabilitation costs are too high. I remember him speaking to the Addiction Prevention and Rehabilitation Association of Kenya then, about in 2022, and telling them he notes that the costs are high, and he was looking into a rehabilitation fund that can help those people who cannot access. So when I hear community-based framework, then and it's in this government, then that's a plus. He also, when he got into government in 2022 of August, he was having a meeting with his the elected members, and he was talking and saying he sees some of these people using alcohol. Saa ingine anawaita, anawaambia achana na hiyo kitu, stop using and all. So 3 years later, having a policy that is there to protect our communities, our health, is in the right direction. So we need to handle that. And when I talk about civil societies, yesterday we came together, and it's different organizations. There are those people in prevention, in treatment, and in recovery, uploading it and asking government then to continue with the momentum, and us being willing to ensure to see the light and day of this policy in the positive way, focusing on science, not myths. You know, if you are to go by that policy, we will reduce the number of accidents on the road. We will reduce violence, because there's a lot of interpersonal violence that comes with substance use. The statistics of the effects or the risk factors of alcohol and substance use is so high. And if we can be able to use that as a guideline and not be too emotional about it and then just settle and start thinking of that child, of the youth, of the future we envision, then we can be able to be on right track. America raised the age of legal age from 18 to 21 in 1984, and they were able to pass it. And we are also looking at that data, because data doesn't lie, and seeing out of that directive what has happened. So it is ambitious, but we're on the right track. We're on the right track, and we need to be responsible from individuals in the community, legislators, the people in parliament, the ones who pass laws, you know, even the faith-based, the teaching, the teachers, you know, the professionals in this field. We just need to have all hands on deck, because when you look at the power of influencers and their cry that you're taking away their revenue, we've seen celebrities who were influencers and alcohol was their daily habits or the kind of fun. But today we've seen many, some are 6 feet under, and may God rest their souls in peace. We've seen people, their lives siphoned out. These same celebrities who are endorsing the same product and influence, like the people in the comment section are saying, when I see someone I respect walk and say, I'm walking because, you know, look who's doing the talking, is misleading. Most of these people don't even use those products. So let us look at how we can be able to share the right information. I mentioned I sit in the executive committee of ISAP. So ISAP is a global organization, and it is able to equip the workforce with knowledge on substance use prevention, substance use treatment, and substance use recovery. And so people can check it out and get the right knowledge and skills. And if you want to get into this profession, do your research. You can get the basic training that is needed, and you can be able to be part of the workforce that supports. And we also have a YouTube channel for us, you know, we call it Silent Conversations, where we host professionals, we host lived experience. Let me call them experts, because then we focus on that life and what we can pick that can be a stop sign or a guide for someone not to end up wasting so many years
of their lives
in addiction.
I see that. Thanks, Nkatha. And Reva, there was a question on the affordability of the same. It's expensive, so you know the mother wants to take the daughter, but then says rehabilitation is expensive. How can they be helped? And then a little bit on the community-based rehabilitation. I can see Philip is in my ear. We might be crossing anytime soon, but
First of all, it is true that just as he said, we realize that not everybody can be able to take they are addicted to rehabilitation centers because of the cost associated factors.
Okay.
And therefore, that's why we came up with the community-based rehabilitation program, where we gather all the addicts in every village. Then there are clergy who have frontiered themselves. They call them to churches, and they speak to them. They invite recovery coaches like in Kada and Andrew. They speak to them, they tell them there is a possibility of coming out of addiction. And therefore, many of them are coming out. So if, say, for example, she's there, perhaps you can look for one of the pastors who are doing that, because they also invite counselors, they invite recovery coaches, and also pastors who help them to come out of addiction, even preaching to them, and they become born again. And they are also increasing members in the church. By the way, let me tell you, this is the work of a good Samaritan. When you speak to the addict out there and who are even in the streets, and they become, they reform and they become saved, you are increasing your members. That is the best gospel you can ever do, you as a clergy. Okay. In fact, you are doing the work of a good Samaritan. And coming back, perhaps mention a bit about the policies, because it has been mentioned. These policies, you find they are as about prevention, management, and control. Okay. Why is it so? Because according to Vision 2030, Sustainable Development Goal in our country, one of the portions that has been highlighted is prevention of children to be exposed to things that cannot help them in the future, to expose them to alcohol. Again, also in the United Nations Agreement Treaty of 2015, there is that clause which speaks about preventing children from the exposure to alcohol. So when you find a beautiful girl out there advertising alcohol and saying how good it is, then the children will say, oh, so I need to also begin to drink alcohol so that I become as good as this one. Okay. Look at the John Walker. You find a gentleman walking very well. Who is that one who can walk as good as that John Walker? That's right. There is a lot of deceit in this advertisement. Okay. And that's why you have said it has to stop. Even online merchant selling of alcohol online, it has to stop because it has no control. Nobody knows who has ordered. Nobody knows where it has gone. That's why you find this alcohol is having exposure to children back at home. The other day I was in a Ruracio, and I've seen in the comment section, you find Muratina there is like part of what should be. Yes, tradition.
Passed on. The son who passes to the father.
And being an Akada person, I told, and there was some clergy there, I told them, I don't want even to hear the word Muratina here. I was the one to take the Ruracio, and I said, don't even mention, I'm an Akada person unless you and everybody there started saying, oh, so this thing has to stop. So it is illegal. Even clergy did not know, even selling Muratina there at Ruracio, drinking Muratina at Ruracio is illegal. They started saying, oh, then I will stop it even myself. I will never again allow Muratina to be in a place where I'm involved. Because what is happening when? That is where children are being exposed to alcohol as early as 7 or 6 years, as we said. You know, that is the way we normalize. And I'm telling even these wazes who are so much acquainted to alcohol in the Ruracio, this has to stop. You can use milk, you can use tea, you can use soda. Stop about it. Even clergy, we are telling them. Even in the table of the road, we are asking them to stop now using wine.
Okay.
My son the other day told me, Dad, you know, I would die out of alcoholism. I don't want to taste even that of the church wine.
Yes.
So we have begun using now Ribena. And I would urge all you clergy out there, kindly please use Ribena or anything else. Don't use wine. Because the Bible says that wine or alcohol for that matter lures people into addiction. And finally you find yourself, you wanted to come out of it, you cannot come out of it. We have even fathers and even some clergy or some priests who are right now addicted. Why? Because they don't go to bar. They got addicted with that church wine. So I think this is the time we need to stop every area where our children, our youth, our people are getting exposed to alcohol.
I see.
Yes.
So before we went on a break, you were speaking to three people. So you spoke to the parents.
Yes.
You spoke to the clergy.
Yes. The other, I was also to speak about to the youth and addicted people.
All right.
Yes. So those who are addicted, don't despair. You are a guru. Kenyans, you know, everyone you find there who is so much addicted, you see as if they are useless. Let me tell you, they are normally guru. You can see these two here. Once they get reformed, they do things in the village, in the society, in the country, you cannot imagine. They are normally so powerful. So kindly, if you are out there and you are addicted, there is hope. You can stop it. You can get out of it. Go to where the pastors are speaking to people. If you are so much, addicted such that you feel you may not recover out of maybe normal counseling, you want to go to inpatient. Look at, you apply for what do we call it? This SHA. SHA. Those people who are having SHA, when you go to some rehabs which are SHA accredited, they are being treated and they come out without having to use any money. So you can go there for those that are registered with the SHA. If you are not registered, just register. You are addicted boy, you are addicted girl to SHA. Then you go to a rehab which is accredited with the SHA, and you will be treated. For those that are not, that can be treated outpatient through community rehabilitation, because there are so many and not. We don't have so many rehabs that can accommodate the 3.7 million who are addicted. Go to places where we are carrying out community rehabilitation program activities.
Is this countrywide?
It is countrywide. Every county, every sub-county, every ward, every village. It is happening everywhere. For our youth, please don't try. Don't get it wet. You begin like a joke, you begin like fun, and then before you know it, you are already in it, you want to come out of it. It is too difficult, it is very, very hard. So the best thing to do is not to even begin.
Try.
And even if you have tried a little bit, just stop it today.
It's not saying that he reduced, stop, stop today.
Yes.
Just going through one of the comments on the question that we're asking you today, that is, the society normalized, alcohol too much. Why or why not? There's someone here who says, this is Muiruri wa Mishoro. Hey, says, it's very much normal. Look at the rates these so-called wines and spirits shops are sprouting. Demand and supply dynamics. And it's interesting because just on my way to the office this morning, it's like 2 or 3 of them in my neighborhood were open. And at that hour of the morning, I'm thinking, who is drinking at this time, of the morning? Now I understand the stricter measures that really need to be put in place. And others actually closer to schools, which is really, really, sad at that. And then there's someone here who says, Kenneth Okubo, who says, alcohol is a socially acceptable drug whose effects, though negative, are downplayed. While we have a regulatory body, NACADA, alcohol addiction has never been given the seriousness it deserves. So how do we do that in terms of really, addressing the root cause and address it with the seriousness that it deserves? So I think maybe we can unpack that when we come back from the break. 30 minutes past the hour on this Wellness Wednesday. The conversation is on alcohol and wellness, and we're trying to understand, is it a problem or just a habit? But up until now, I'm pretty sure we know we know where we lie with that. But of course, the question that we're asking you this morning is, do you think society normalizes alcohol too much? Why or why not? Do you think society normalizes alcohol too much? Why or why not? So there's someone here who says, this is Jimmy Kamau on Facebook, who says, losing a child to alcohol-related causes leaves parents with deep, unending pain that words can hardly capture. The grief is often mixed with anger, regret, and unanswered questions, wondering if more could have been done, if help could have come sooner. Many parents speak of the silent battles their children fought with addiction, battles that often went unseen until it was too late. Beyond the personal tragedy, this losses highlights the urgent need for stronger community support, rehabilitation programs, and public awareness to prevent other families from enduring the same heartbreak. For many, turning their pain into advocacy becomes a way to honor their children's memory and fight for a future where no life is cut short by alcohol abuse. Wow. Thank you so much for that. And then there's someone here. This is Kagwe Uleboni, still on Facebook, who says, nilikunywa pombe 7 years. Na sikumind pombe yote. Keg, spirit, beer, cham, ratish, busa. Cham ni nini? Okay. Changa. Oh, cham ni changa. Oh, all those. But niliwacha juu ya gas. Nilikuwa na 25 kgs. Bibi akapotea. Nikafutwa. Okay, clearly the impact, there. And then someone here says, Raymond Langat, who says, mwenye hajawai onja pombe, don't. And the don't ameka in capital letters. Don't, okay? And then Stephen Muruki says, alcohol will one day die. It is the devil. And then another person here says, either way, alcohol is a poison. Needless to blame the bar. So alcohol in itself is a poison. And we're talking about how we need to then humanize, put a human face on alcohol, because the alcohol affects someone. Could be a child, could be a parent, could be, the entire community, and shift the way we look at it, from, like he's also talked about, public health as well. Someone said we're not giving it the seriousness that it deserves. And I wonder, Drew, how can we approach it? What kind of seriousness should we put into it? Because like you said, your family was impacted. Your child had to come and tell you, you're going to die. And I'm just trying to imagine the trauma and the fear that she had. So how seriously can we then approach this whole conversation on alcohol? And are you doing anything in your capacity, to just help people really understand the grave impact of alcohol?
For me, how I try to impact people, I teach people how to DJ.
Okay.
So as I'm with my students, I teach at Redberry DJ Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, my friend Conrad Sidney there. And whenever I'm there with my students, I'm always telling them, in this lifestyle that you're getting into, in this career that you're getting into, you're going to find yourself in those situations where the alcohol is free. It's part of,
right?
You come to work, just the same way you'd offer me coffee or water.
Yes.
There's a bottle there for you. So it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with it. And so I try to advise them on that, like, it's not a must.
Okay.
Yeah? You can be able to do this job without ever having to use any drug or alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't fall into the same trap. So I'm always advising them, like, look at me now.
Yeah.
I'm even better than I was before.
Yeah.
When I thought I was so good when I was using alcohol, and now that I've stopped, I'm like, look, I'm even better. So for you, you never even need to get into it.
Yeah.
If you're in it, you can just get out and elevate yourself to a different level.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm always advocating for people just stay away. I actually support NACADA. This is going to be a controversial one on the age recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah. Even in clubs, there are age limits. The good clubs, you will go there, they look at your ID, some will tell you 21, some will tell you 25 already. You can't go in. Yeah. So why wouldn't that be the same with alcohol? Because they also know, those people who are telling you that club, don't come in here unless you're above 21 or above 25. They know. Those people who are below that age will misbehave. And they're not mature enough to be in that space.
Yes.
so they won't allow them. So the same way with alcohol, I don't see the problem. Yeah, you can just always just go up to 21. It'll be okay. Yeah.
Okay. So in all spaces, even the bars, the one that's saying, hey, where you get it, also have to put stricter measures just to ensure that we're helping as many people out there. Okay. Nkatha, the seriousness part of it as well. You know, someone says, yes, there are regulatory bodies and frameworks, but then again, we're not giving it the seriousness that it deserves. And I'm also keen to hear what Reverend has to say on the same. But yes, how seriously should we either change tactics or, approach the whole conversation?
I think the most important thing is to prioritize education and awareness, and then looking at the budget. Many people don't want to put money on, alcohol, say policy, awareness. I want to urge governments, I want to urge civil society, churches, even faith-based, put money so that you can be able to have programs that can be beneficial to the person in the community, going up. Most people spend their time in work. What is the work, your workplace? What are they doing to ensure that you're informed, educated? And if you're struggling, is there a workplace policy that does that? And that needs money. So it will be taken seriously when money is put aside, so that we can be able to do all these activities collectively to achieve this. And we have to be consistent. This policy did not come out from nowhere. There's been participation for the last 2 years in each and every county. It's just that people assume. Our county governments and boldly come to them and ask them to fund these activities as provided by the Constitution, then we go a long way. And seeking knowledge. I have learned so much from an organization called Blue Cross. Blue Cross is part of the International Blue Cross, and it's been there for, I believe, more than a century. But in Kenya, must be clocking 30 years. But they are an organization that has modeled to others how you can be able to push, for alcohol policy. You can be able to go to county governments and using that constitution, be able to lobby for 1, 2, 3. And as an organization, which is Graceful Youth Recovery Center, we've partnered with them and are working with churches to be able to support persons in recovery. So those are examples. If we had more and more organizations doing things that are going to be able to impact the family positively, then that's where the protection comes in. That's where the awareness comes in, so that a child can make an informed decision. A 7-year-old telling daddy, Dad, you're going to die. What information? Where did that information come from? I don't work for NACADA, but I don't work for them. But if you go to their website, you will get all those manuals. Age, targeted to age. What do you tell an 8-year-old? What do you tell a 12-year-old? What do you tell an 18-year-old? There's a way you disseminate this information. And these tools are free online. You can be able to use those tools to then do what you can in your capacity. I always tell people, for me, I do what I do. From a young age, people used to call me the PR lady. I never had a clue, not gone for journalism or anything. But in recovery, I have come to appreciate that God has gifted me with communication and favor in spaces. And I'm not going to pretend to be somebody I'm not. So I will do, my purpose is to ensure to use my gifts in this journey so that whoever God intended for me to touch, to transform, can happen. But I am doing it according to what strengths I have. And I'm urging people out there in recovery or as an individual, you need to know who you are. You need to live purpose. Then you can be able to live a fulfilled life.
Help people. I mean, during the break we were discussing this, and I think Drew mentioned people who are telling you, recovery, you know, you don't have to tell the people and whatnot.
Somebody texted me. Asking me, do you really need to talk about that? You're in recovery, you're okay. So I was wondering, like, okay, now I'm supposed to tell people about it. And I think even that's how we spoke the first time. I was very open with it. Because it has changed me. I'm very different. It's
and
made
also
me see the world
as many lives out there just through your story. Because most of the time when we're talking about these conversations, it's usually boardrooms, policies and whatnot, and we leave the people who've gone through it, we leave them aside, and yet people relate to more of their stories because once they see you guys went through it and you are in recovery, it gives someone that strength to say, you know what, Atamimi, you know, there's someone here, this feedback I was reading, even when you were talking, Katha, someone here says, this is Chris Odhiambo, who says, I have tried running away from alcohol, but it is hard. I've even prayed over it, lakini no change. Imefika point, I think Nilan, Bishop. They have tried. They have tried. So what do they do? And then we'll also talk a little bit about the challenges that probably NACADA faces, because like we said, the policies are there. Implementation is where there's a bit of a problem. And how can people then come and support NACADA? Because this is a problem that does not just affect particular people from a different, from a certain community, but it's affecting every person.
First of all, let me answer the question to many concerns I've had about what they are saying. There has not been that seriousness.
Taken with the seriousness it deserves.
Alcoholism has not been given the seriousness it deserves. To a certain extent, I say it's true, especially when you find even parents joke around it and they are exposing their children to alcohol. Also, again, in schools, you find some teachers also getting involved in alcoholism. You find them also staggering and getting to classes when they are drunk. And you find even in that space, again, they do not seem to be that serious. You find even some other people who are having a supermarket, also keeping, having beer in the shelves, where even students are coming, university students and colleges, they can freely get some beer, put them into their basket and go and drink out there when nobody is aware. Some even consume school fees. Because they can access. You don't find them in the bar, but they go to the supermarket. That's why we see there is in some sectors, or in some areas, there is not that seriousness as it would be. But coming to NACADA, we are very, very serious about it. For the first time now, we have put on board Community Rehabilitation Initiative, which is incorporating police, incorporating teachers, parents, students, recovery coaches, everyone is involved. We are creating awareness. We are bringing them on board so that this war can be won not by NACADA but every person in the society. So I can say we are very serious. That's why also we have come up with these new policies because we find, like for example, when we talk of online marketing, our children still are accessing alcohol through online. We are in the policy, if it goes through, and of course I know it will because Kenyan people are supporting it, we are going to ban because we are talking about prevention, management, and control. So we are going to ban it because in the online sales, we don't have very good access. Again, we are very much aware that there are people out there who are, would want to make money out of these sales at the expense of our children, because they don't mind. Even if you are shout or whatever happens, they get addicted and they get rich. They don't mind. And that's what I always tell those people who are in this business. Even if you get so much money, so much so what you desire, and our children are dead out there, what you will get? You will not get customers in the future. So there's nothing you do with your money. So the best thing would be everybody support this policy, because they have been they are put in place to ensure that our generation tomorrow is there. In Kikuyu we say that shed that does not have calves have no future. Kigo gitari jau, I mean gitari rotari jau rutigiri na bere. That shed that has no calves cannot continue, has no future. So our youth are the future of this country. Therefore, we need to do what we can to ensure that we prevent them from accessing alcohol. So I also want to thank the president so much, because in his time, I have seen the government now really backing backing NACADA on their policies, and also looking at addiction as disease. If you find the president ordering the Ministry of Health to ensure that in every county there should be a rehabilitation center who should be free. Those who are addicted, they go to rehab, they are treated, and they come out treated. Although it has not taken root very well, but eventually, because it is the government is willing to do that, finally, once it is in place, it will help so many. So I can say on the part of the government, under the leadership of His Excellency William Ruto, we are very, very serious. But again, also out there in the society, you find people are not very, very serious. But again, we are doing all what it takes to ensure that we do advocacy, awareness, so that everybody out there in the Kenyan society becomes as serious as we are in government.
And put, all hands on deck.
Yes.
And the recovery, aspect of it, because like we said, there's the support that you get from rehabilitation center, there's support that you get from family, but then again, how do we enforce this? When it comes to the support, and I'm told that we have to cross over there. So, like in 1 second,
ideally,
let's just close the show.
Ideally, there should be aftercare. Most treatment facilities do offer that. But like the discussion has been, there's a big gap. But for me, it's to envision each and every county, 47 counties of Kenya, there must be people in recovery. That is a recovery capital. So just like the Ministry of Interior has focused on Jukwaa la Usalama, which is a great initiative led by the CS, incorporate these recovery persons, because we have noted that alcohol and substance use can lead to violence, security issues, health complications. There are many people willing, like myself, like DJ Drew, like Reverend Frederick, willing, and there are many. That is recovery capital, and they're already doing things in their counties, and there's also something we call the 12-step program, the AA, which is anonymous. If you go onto the internet to check for recovery support, you can be able to get that as a great resource. But for me, in conclusion,
yes. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye and cross over. Freedom Walker is on standby, to take over, because Devolution Conference is happening, in Homa Bay. But for now, I'd love to say thank you to all of you. And Freedom Walker, uwanjani wako.